I'm watching just wonderful football, great crowd, good environment, two finely coached teams.
From the 4, it's Delano Madison. He'll throw it back the other way. And Alessi down the left sideline, looking for some running room, finds it. Alessi to the house. Oh my! No flags. Touchdown, Brother Rice. Al Fracassa might be 80, but his bag of tricks is limitless.
I want to welcome you to the very first in a series of brand new State Champs Sports Network productions, Legends. I am your host, Lauren Plant. Who better to start with than Al Fracassa, a name synonymous with winning. From his days as a young star athlete in the city of Detroit to his 44 years as head football coach at Birmingham Brother Rice, Al Fracassa has a legacy of leaders through the thousands of young men he mentored through discipline and devotion. This is Al Fracassa.
I think he is the Lombardi of high school football.
His ability to get inside of that kid and really pull things and draw things out of them is unique.
When I think of Coach Fracassa, other than my father, he's the most influential person that I've ever had in my life, and that's a lot of coaches throughout my career.
Born in Detroit, Al Fracassa was a star three-sport athlete at Detroit Northeastern High School. He was the senior class president and graduated cum laude in 1951. His excellence in football, basketball, and baseball netted him the honor of Athlete of the Decade in the Detroit Public Schools. Fracassa earned a football scholarship to Michigan State as a quarterback. He played all 4 seasons for the Spartans that included being a member of the much-heralded 1952 National Championship team and the 1954 Rose Bowl Championship team. Now, Al's time at MSU found himself behind 3 All-American quarterbacks, so Fracassa's future destiny was shaped as the scout team quarterback. It was on the scout squad where his love of the game flourished, but more importantly, this was the beginning of a commitment that still stands today to learn the game inside and out.
Yeah, he played here at Michigan State back in the 50s, and I believe he was Earl Morrall's backup quarterback. And, so he's always been a Spartan. So he's always been close with Coach Perlis and the other coaches that have been through here. And, he comes up a lot, and every time I see him, he's going to give me a shot in the arm and a little positive reinforcement, regardless of what's going on. I remember he just told me, hey, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You could hear him saying that probably. You're going to be okay. You just win a couple more games, you're going to be okay. That was early on here in the process, but always just appreciated him taking his time with us and with our coaches and with the players really that he's coached that have come to be a part of Michigan State's program as of late. They're class people, they're well-coached guys, and they understand what the word team means.
Look at the success that the kids that have played for him have had after football. That tells you what kind of a coach he is. He's done more than coach those kids. He's done more than be a member of the faculty at Brother Rice. He's been a fixture. He's been someone to emulate. For anybody who gets into high school coaching should read a book about Al Fracassa.
After graduating from MSU, he married his high school sweetheart Phyllis and decided to pursue a career in coaching. He started as a teacher and assistant coach at Flint Mandeville High School. However, the United States Army came calling. He was drafted and recruited to play football in the Armed Service League. Once out of the service, Al Fracassa's passionate pursuit of teaching and coaching continued. He was a substitute teacher in the Detroit Public School District. Then, in 1958, Al was hired as a teacher and assistant football coach at Rochester High School. It wasn't until 1960 that Al began his head coaching career at Royal Oak Shrine, a small school and football program. Fracassa was tasked with competing against the much larger Catholic schools in the area. After 9 years as head coach at Shrine, he amassed an amazing 44-19-5 record with 2 Catholic League championship game appearances.
Everybody tries to be a motivator. Everybody tries to be a disciplinarian. He can combine both of them, make practice fun, make the team feel that if you're not doing the right thing, you're hurting yourself, you're hurting the team. You know what your position is, you know what you should do. If you're not doing it, pick it up, do what you're supposed to do with it.
After successfully building the Royal Oak Shrine football team into a respected power program, in 1969, Al Fracassa was given the opportunity to take on a new challenge. He accepted the head football coaching position at Birmingham Brother Rice. While the school had more students than Shrine, Rice was just a 9-year-old school with little success on the gridiron. Al's approach was simple: be a good role model, be disciplined, teach important life lessons through football, and success will follow. He often quoted the great Vince Lombardi to teach morality, honor, and character on and off the field.
I started in 1974, and when I started our models, and then I said, hey, that worked pretty good because we won the state championship and nobody beat us. We had 10 guys that went to Division I football. And then I kept the models up since 1974. I learned them from Michigan State. The difference between good and great is a little extra effort. Biggie Munn is still there in the locker room. My old high school coach always reminded us, you want to do things better than you've ever done them before. It kind of stuck with me. So I made it a model for my boys here at one time. Those little things, if you believe in those little models, it's what life is all about.
I've been to so many high schools and different colleges, and you see Lombardi, the guys, got some of the greatest quotes out there. Al Fracassa is really similar to that. I mean, I can sit here and name you quotes that he says just all day, every day. Repetition is the mother of all skill. I mean, just things that you heard every day throughout practice and school. Those things stick with you.
At the helm of the relatively new Warriors football program, Fracassa developed the team into a perennial state power. In his 6th season at Rice, the team won the Associated Press State Championship in 1974. The Michigan High School Athletic Association started a new state tournament in football in 1975. Over the last 38 years, Brother Rice has won 8 state championships, including back-to-back Division II crowns in 2011 and 2012. Fracassa's overall record of 4-16, 1-17, and 7 ranks him number 1 all-time in Michigan and is 7th all-time nationally, 6th among active coaches.
Brian Brennan was a wide receiver for Boston College. He made All-American with Doug Flutie. Brian Brennan was 5'8.5" and played with the Cleveland Browns for 9.5 years. He called me up after a while, after he got out of pro ball, and he says, you know what kept me going, Coach? I said, what? Never give up. It stuck in my mind. That was our motto. Never give up. And it stuck in my mind. And these guys were bigger than me, but I outran them, I outworked them, and that's why I lasted that long in the Cleveland Browns.
When I was going through my senior year, we had a motto. Our motto was never, 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 never give up, and I still quote it today. And he'd also taught me something else. And he would say, life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but to the man who knows he can. And I may not be the biggest guy, or the strongest guy, or the fastest guy, right? But I know I could because of the things that I learned under Coach Fracassa.
The Brother Rice motto when I played my senior year was never, never, never give up. And I've never forgotten that. I took that very seriously. I know he does those as mottos, but to me that was just the way it was for me. I mean, I just never gave up. Someone said you're not good enough, I'd go somewhere else. And to this day, and I try to instill that in my athletes, and I think that's something that he did a great job of instilling in me, is to have a great work ethic, and if you want something, you got to go after it, and don't take no for an answer.
It's a test to your commitment. Are you committed to playing at a level, whether you're good enough or not, it doesn't matter. And I tell my own son this, I don't care how good you are, I just care how hard you try. And that's really the function of what Coach Fracassa was to me, is better yourself, push yourself. And that was, it was great. It was awesome.
He's very meticulous. I envy the fact that he has this coaching book, and I call it like his coaching Bible. Every single minute, from practice plans to announcements to things that he wants to address with an individual player is written in that book. I think it's an awesome attribute of his is the preparation and the meticulous nature of how he plans for each week.
We have an ace reverse right. You remember we put it in that last day? Okay? Hey, there might be one time we're going to use it. Remember, Fly, you're going to be in it. We want a nice handoff, and we're going to go to the races, okay? Hey, you don't need a pep talk. You're playing hard. Let's keep it up, okay? Here we go. Let's go, boys. Hey, guys,
let's go. The Michigan High School Coaches Association awarded its highest honor, the Jim Crowley Award, to Coach Fracassa in 2004. In 2005, Michigan State honored Coach with the Duffy Doherty Memorial Award for his lifetime achievement in amateur sports. Fracassa's career is studded with numerous prestigious national, state, and local awards. Among them, National High School Coach of the Year, NFL National High School Coach of the Year. Multiple times he was named the Michigan High School Coach of the Year. He's been a Detroit News Coach of the Year and is a Michigan Sports Hall of Famer. He was a Detroit News Michiganian of the Year honoree in 2009.
I love the game of football, and I love sports. Baseball, I played baseball, I'm a basketball player. And I wanted to maybe continue my education. I went to Michigan State, and all I thought about, I wanted to be an All-American, number one. And if I couldn't be an All-American, then coaching would be the second thing I would love.
Early in my career, they had this program where you nominate your high school football coach, and it kind of has to do with being a great, obviously having success on the field, but being a great man, being a great leader. When I nominated him, I was sort of a marginal NFL football player, and I just assumed that some superstars coach was going to win just based on who they were. But I remember talking to the nominating or the committee that selected the coach, and they were talking about after they interviewed him and talked to him, they were just amazed, and they went around and talked to people that were around coach, and I remember them saying they never really had they've never talked to so many people that had such an impact from one coach like that before. It was exciting and a really cool program that the NFL has done to sort of highlight. I think they understand about where these kids come from.
Very rarely would the players talk about themselves. It was always what we did. And I think that's a reflection of the coach. Anytime I go out to a practice or even at a game, you'll see those alumni there and the amount of respect that those players, former players, show. I think that's just the hallmark of the program.
I think when you look at the body of work, if I think you take the early teams, they're the same. They share so many qualities of the discipline, the character. And I think the amazing thing when you look at that is kids have changed from 30 years ago to today. Society has changed from 30 years ago to today. And for him to be able to really bridge those gaps and still have that same impact is incredible.
Most coaches out there are all about football and all about, keeping their job and saving their job. Coach could care less about that. He wants to see guys grow up to be successful, and I think he's probably the only guy who doesn't realize how many lives that he's touched, and how many people he's changed. But it's just, from the first day, you understand what it's all about, and it's so much more than football. It's about family, friends, always doing the right thing. My favorite quote about him is probably, character is who you are when nobody's watching, and that's something that he says on the daily, and you know, you remember those things. So, you know, I can't thank a guy like that enough for what he did for me growing up. You know, and his beliefs are still with me today.
Al Fracassa's teams have had incredible triumphs on the field, but he is immortalized for the incredible positive influence he's had in molding the character of thousands of young men who were part of Brother Rice and Shrine's football programs. Many of his players moved on to be successes in college and professional football. Many more went on to be prominent leaders in the medical, legal, business, and other non-football endeavors. They all benefited from the mentorship and leadership of Al Fracassa.
If you love something a lot with all your heart and soul, you can be successful. I don't care what it is. And this is what I try to preach to my kids. You gotta love it, because you're gonna work hard, you're gonna be exhausted, and you're gonna have to come back the next day and you gotta do the same thing over again. Now that takes a lot of hard work, and that takes a lot of courage, but what you're learning out there on that football field, it's gonna help you later on in life. You'll be thinking about that.
What can you say about a guy? I mean, how many state titles has he won? How many games has he won? The longevity he's been able to have as a high school coach in this state at a major institution in this state, you know, places play a high level of high school football as you can get, and the success that he's had.
I think that's the essence to Coach Fracassa. Is he's more interested in you becoming a good man than he is a good football player.
As a young kid, you want to attach yourself, and you crave discipline. I do. I believe kids crave discipline. And, you know, having an opportunity to see those guys, and, you know, they would walk out with their gray half shirts, their helmets and their shoulder pads all in their right hand. They would be in two lines. And just the discipline in that, going out to their pregame stretch, it was incredible. And to say, how is that done? I mean, how do you work all this stuff with football, the X's and O's and all this stuff, and at the same time, get these kids coming off the bus doing that? You know, you start to understand it's discipline from A to Z. You know, it's all the details in between that make this place special and coach special. And so, as a kid, you just fall in love with that. It's pageantry, it's tradition, it's all those things wrapped into one.
His record speaks for itself. The all-time winningest coach in the state of Michigan, check. How many state championships has he had in football? 9, check. How many athletes has he put into the major college programs? A lot, check. How many in the pros? Let's just go there. A number of people in the pros. His profile speaks for itself. What people don't know about Coach Fracassa is the sacrifices that he has made for all of us. He has sacrificed his family time, I'm sure, his personal time, his time with his wife Phyllis, to make sure that all of the Brother Rice Warriors are successful underneath him when he's coaching them in the afterlife. If you're the best guy on the team or the lowest rung on the team, if you're holding that blocking dummy or if you're the star quarterback, he treats you the same. And I think the star quarterback sees how Coach Fracassa is, and he understands humility and treats the guy that's holding blocking dummy with respect.
I just thought maybe it'd be another challenge and maybe go somewhere else, you know. But I liked it. The first 2 years, I didn't really know if I wanted to be in this situation. And then it got better and better. The good Lord was always there for me, and don't let anybody tell you, you know, when you pray, good things happen.